Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is the Bodega Cat Book Club Health Edition. And today we're continuing our reading of Never Be Sick Again by Raymond Francis. Here you go. And today we'll be reading chapter 8, and this is part 2. Okay. All right, here we go. Sleep, the anti-drug. Adequate sleep is also a deep physical need and a biological necessity. Adequate sleep is critical for building new cells, repairing damaged ones, and replenishing cellular energy levels. Our lives have become so busy that sometimes we forget what it feels like to be fully rested and awake. We have forgotten what a good night's rest really is. Busy with the constant call of life's duties, sleep is often pushed aside for more pressing needs. A study by the National Sleep Foundation found that 64% of the adult population does not sleep the recommended 8 hours per night, and 32% sleep less than 6 hours. To compensate, people use coffee, sugar, and other stimulants, which worsens a bad situation. For some people, better health can be achieved simply by sleeping more. Needs are different for each person, some requiring less sleep than others, and much depends on the quality of the sleep, whether the sleep is deep and refreshing or fitful and non-energizing. For our biological ancestors, sleeping enough was much less of a challenge. A sun's rising and setting determined sleep habits. In centuries past, sleeping was about all you could do once the sun went down. Only in recent years has the simple flick of a switch given us light whenever we wanted it. Now we live in cities that never sleep. Modern technology excites and stimulates our lives, and often we find ourselves awake at all hours of the night. 100 years ago, people in developed countries slept 9 hours each night. Now, the average American sleeps about seven, which is insufficient for most people. Sometimes people think they can accomplish more if they sleep less. Not so. Being deprived of sleep actually makes people less productive. Furthermore, because the body repairs and rejuvenates itself during sleep, lack of sleep invites sickness and injury. Just a couple points here, little side note. Number one, a little plug for the EE system, uh, which is which I have in my healing center. Um, it's best to sleep in it because it helps the body rejuvenates and helps the cells repair. And being in the EE system uh, accelerates that. So that's number one. And you could check it out at eesystem.com or check out my website and learn more about it, um, which you can find in the description box below. Or you could go to unifiedhealing.com to find the nearest center and check it out, you know. And number two, I heard this story from my teacher. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but there was this guy who had prostate cancer, and he fell, hit his head, went into a coma because of that. And because of the coma, he was in a deep sleep. And when he got out of the coma, his prostate cancer was gone. So that sort of tells you how crucial deep sleeping is, right? Or even the quality of sleep, not just the quantity. And for me, I sleep when I feel tired at night. I'll work until I'm tired, which is about, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock. And then I'll just sleep and wake up naturally. I don't have any alarm clock or anything. And that's usually about 6 hours. I'll just kind of wake up by myself. And then I'll gauge when I wake up, I'll kind of gauge, oh, am I rested? I'm recently I've been dreaming a lot. So I'll kind of think a little bit, I think about my dream a little bit. Um, I don't usually don't remember what I dream about, but I'll dream like how do I feel? What was the tone? Those are the kind of things that I sort of do an inventory before I actually get up. And usually my cats will wake wake me up physically. They'll be hanging around my head and my pillow and stare at me and things like that until I actually physically get up. So, anyways, my cats are my natural alarm clock. People with cat people will know about that. All right, just a little side note there. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's continue. Being deprived of adequate sleep for even a few nights dulls the brain, lowers energy levels, increases irritability and depression, and makes people more accident prone. A Lewis Harris and Associates poll found that people who sleep less than 8 hours each night often experience problems on the job. That might not be true for everybody because, like I said, I sleep about 6 hours, seven, sometimes more, if my body needs it. I'll just kind of sleep until I wake up. So I kind of let my body dictate. So that might not be a true statement. Everybody's different. Everyone's body is different and needs are different. That's why I always said, listen to your body because your body's your doctor, your best doctor. Listen to your physicians, right? But you always have to gauge it to what you know about health, which is why education is important, and also gauge it to your body. Listen to your body. That's um number one priority. Would I say priority? I don't know what the word is, but number one factor, I guess you could say. All right. Anyways, sleep deprivation is a major factor in an estimated 100,000 automobile accidents per year. In the short term, sleep deprivation produces unpleasant side effects. Long term, it contributes to cellular malfunction and disease. And the EE system repairs cells, repairs DNA. So that's an important factor to note. Uh, Anyways, little plug there. Lack of adequate sleep also causes hormone imbalances and interferes with other body functions. A study reported in the October 1999 issue of Lancet found that just 1 week of getting too few hours of sleep per night significantly altered hormone levels and compromised the body's ability to metabolize carbohydrates properly. Chronic disruption of the body's hormone balance invites disease. For example, a potentially harmful hormone called cortisol increases in the brain of an underrested person. High cortisol levels can damage cells in the brain that control learning and memory. If you're overtired, take that spaced out, forgetful feeling seriously. You may be suffering brain damage. Two other hormones, beneficial ones, normally are produced during sleep and decrease if you are underrested. One is human growth hormone or HGH, which helps to rebuild tissue. Lack of HGH accelerates the aging process. The other beneficial hormone produced during sleep is prolactin, which governs the immune system. A lack of prolactin can impair immunity. Sleep enough and normalizing your sleep patterns help to keep these critical hormones balanced properly. Sleep also serves to replenish energy. While asleep, the body creates large amounts of ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, a high energy compound that our cells need, much like a car needs gasoline. If you are tired and cannot sleep enough at night, take a nap, perhaps right after lunch or when you get home from work. Sometimes people avoid napping because they feel like they're being lazy. If you lack the energy necessary to do the task at hand, get some rest. And I'm not usually a nap person, but if I do get tired, I will nap in the afternoon. Sometimes if I'm really tired, I'll nap like 2 or 3 times. I mean, sorry, 2 or 3 hours. I'll just get knocked out. Like I said, I listen to my body and rest whenever I need to. If you have boundless natural energy, consider it a very good sign. How energetic or tired we feel is a good general indicator of how well our bodies are functioning. If you are tired all the time, listen to your body's cry for help. Resting is important, but so is considering how diet, toxic exposure, lack of exercise, and other factors affect your overall energy levels. Fatigue is often a symptom of disease, physical, psychological, or both. As health improves, fatigue goes away. And toxic exposures, just a side note, includes kitchen utensils, um, household items, like shampoo, soap, uh, personal hygiene stuff, right? Um, clean household cleaning supplies, like laundry detergents and things like that. Recently, I have detoxed my kitchen, um, and I got uh, non-toxic kitchenware recently. And I don't, I've done some research and I've chosen two companies. One is Extrema Cookware, the other one is The Large. And I'll leave the description links below. I don't get any commissions uh, or money from advertising. It's just the little research that I've done. Um, and I've stayed away from aluminum and non-toxic stuff, or what they advertise as non-toxic. Sorry, not non-toxic, non-stick. I stayed away from those. But anyways, yeah, if you have any detoxing areas in your life, share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. Okay. Consuming coffee and other stimulants to compensate for fatigue interferes with health and productivity. Even if you do function well on minimum sleep and probably maximum caffeine, long-term damage is still being inflicted, the aging process is being accelerated, and probably you are not achieving your optimal potential. Also, be sure to normalize your sleep pattern. Go to bed and wake up at approximately the same time each day, even on weekends. The body prefers regularity. Before going to bed, avoid caffeine, alcohol, and any drugs that may interfere or induce sleep. This practice enables you to sleep naturally and healthily, giving your body the ability to build and repair cells, regulate hormonal balances, and produce the energy you need to do the things you want to do. Breathing the right way. Do not take the breathing process for granted. The body can survive weeks without food and days without water, but only minutes without oxygen. Oxygen is our most vital nutrient, and we obtain it with every breath. The way you breathe can substantially affect how you look and feel, your resistance to disease, and even how long you live. We have control over our breathing. Proper breathing technique is an important part of optimizing the physical pathway. In our society, many people breathe incorrectly, either breathing too much or not enough. Either way, oxygen shortages are produced at the cellular level. Underbreathing, one does not breathe in enough air, is uncommon and usually is the result of serious physical compromise, such as when the lungs are failing. Much more common is overbreathing, called hyperventilation. One breathes too much, which also results in an oxygen shortage at its cellular level. How many people are affected by overbreathing? Almost everyone on occasion, and many people breathe this way chronically. Overbreathing often is the result of a stressful situation. The stress causes us to breathe too deeply or too quickly, an autonomic response preparing us for an emergency action. You may recognize this as panic breathing, gasping, chest breathing, shallow breathing, panting, irregular breathing, rapid breathing, or holding of the breath. I hold my breath, I've noticed for me personally. On occasion, overbreathing is not a problem, yet the stress of life causes many of us to overbreathe chronically. Numerous side effects are produced, including heart palpitations, irregular heartbeat, dizziness, muscle spasms, muscle fatigue, high blood pressure, poor memory, asthma attacks, poor concentration, anxiety, among other symptoms. Overbreathing also causes constriction of the blood vessels to the brain and heart and elsewhere, resulting in up to a 50% reduction of oxygen and glucose to the brain, immediately affecting one's ability to learn, think, and remember and perform physically. Little wonder we feel dizzy or lightheaded when stressed. Breathing too rapidly or too deeply causes the body to lose too much carbon dioxide. Normally, oxygen is transported to tissues by bonding with hemoglobin in red blood cells. Carbon dioxide helps the oxygen to break off the hemoglobin so that it can be used. Without sufficient carbon dioxide, the oxygen does not break off. Tissues become oxygen deficient, and the result is cellular malfunction and disease. Oxygen deficiency is known to cause cancer. A separate problem caused by insufficient blood levels of carbon dioxide is that blood pH can become too alkaline. The body will compensate by dumping out alkaline minerals through the urine in order to rebalance blood pH. The result is a deficiency of alkaline minerals such as calcium and magnesium, which contributes to diseases such as osteoporosis. To breathe correctly, the important step is to bring in air down into the lungs by using the diaphragm, a deep abdominal muscle that nature intended for breathing. Breathing downward with the diaphragm, belly breathing instead of chest breathing, is an effortless and efficient way to breathe. Unfortunately, people often use their chest and upper back to breathe. Chest breathing takes more effort, is less efficient, and interferes with normal breathing patterns. Breathing downwards with the diaphragm as opposed to outwards with the chest moves the viscera, which is the guts, down and away, making more room for for the lungs. This action creates the capacity for more air in your lungs and more oxygen for your tissues, thus enhancing the function of your entire respiratory system, whether you are exercising or at rest. Each breath should begin downwards in the belly, only moving up into the chest when necessary. Correct breathing should be effortless through the nose rather than mouth and relatively slow, at a resting rate of less than 15 breaths per minute, preferably 8 to 10. Here is a simple test to check how you're doing. Lie on your back on the floor, put a book on your abdomen, breathe through your nose, and watch to see if the book goes up and down with each breath. Concentrate on belly breathing until the book moves up and down. Next, count the number of breaths you take per minute. Try to keep breaths per minute at less than 15 and preferably less than 10. Be careful not to overbreathe. The key word is effortless. Let your body do the breathing for you as it was designed to do. During aerobic exercise, keep the breath down in the belly and out of the chest as much as possible. And I can almost guarantee that your athletic performance and respiratory health will improve. Breathing has such profound effects, both physically and psychologically, that many ancient traditions, such as meditation, yoga, and martial arts, rely first and foremost on breathing technique. Damage control. Maintaining the body is one aspect of the physical pathway. Preventing physical damage is the other. Modern life exposes us to many different types of physical damage, from sunburns to car accidents, from kitchen cuts and burns to electromagnetic fields. Some physical hazards of modern life can be avoided, while others cannot. Anytime the body suffers damage, though, valuable resources, nutrients, are used to perform repairs. Over time, the loss of these nutrients impairs cellular health, opening the door for further injury or disease. Sometimes repair is not possible. Physical damage can lead to lifelong impairment or disability. To prevent damage before it occurs, recognize physical hazards and take sensible precautions. Here are some ways to protect yourself. Sunbathing isn't always a bad thing. The body needs sunshine just as it needs food, although one must avoid too much of either. Sunlight, full spectrum light, is necessary for good health and an important part of the physical pathway. Those warming sun rays feel good because they are good. They help your body produce vitamin D, an essential nutrient for building strong and healthy bones. The common belief that you should protect yourself from the sun with toxic sunscreen is distorted and misguided. Sunlight is not the problem. The problem is sunburn. Sunburns only happen from excessive and inconsistent exposure to sunlight, such as when you stay in the sun too long or when your body is not used to it. Regular, controlled exposure to sunlight helps the body produce vitamin D and adapt to the sun. If your body is not used to it, and especially if your skin is fair, do not spend all day under the hot sun. Start out with 10 or 15 minutes of sun per day, gradually increasing your exposure as your body adapts to it. Also, beware of the intensity of the sunlight when the sun is most directly overhead, approximately 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you want to protect your skin, using coat after coat of toxic sunscreen is a bad idea. Some of the chemicals in sunscreen can break down when exposed to sunlight, forming carcinogenic compounds. In other words, sunscreen may cause skin cancer rather than preventing it. Perhaps it is not a coincidence that as sunscreen use has increased, so have skin cancer rates. Safer alternatives are available to sunburn and toxic sunscreen. Get regular sun exposure so that your skin can adapt. Dietary nutrients are helpful, including magnesium, antioxidants, vitamins A, C, E, selenium, and especially carotenes, which sometimes are referred to as nature's sun umbrella. Carotenes protect the skin from sunlight. These nutrients are found in colorful vegetables and fruits such as carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, red, yellow, and purple, squash, and others. Also, try the ancient custom of rubbing olive oil on the skin to help protect it from sunburn, provided the oil is of high quality and still contains its natural antioxidant chemicals. Olive oil also is good if your skin is already burned. People in Mediterranean countries still use olive oil for sun protection today. If you must have a sunscreen, consider one of the toxin-free sunscreens. See Appendix C. Let's see, let's check that out, see what he says. Oh, hey, it's a short paragraph, so let's read it. Sunscreen, this is a perspective issue rather than a recommendation. Sunlight is a health promoting required nutrient. Sunburn, however, damages health. The answer is to get sun in frequent, moderate doses and build a tan. Unless you do something foolish, the sun will not cause disease in healthy people who have adequate amounts of nutrients like carotenes, lycopene, essential fatty acids, and vitamins A, C, E, and zinc and selenium. Our need for the sun is exemplified by the fact that nature intended us to get most of our vitamin D from the sun. Vitamin D is almost totally absent in vegetable foods. If you must have a sunscreen skin product, I recommend looking for those that do not contain any toxic synthetic chemicals. My personal choices are any of the several sunscreen products by Aubrey Organics or by merely sticking to the ancient Mediterranean custom of rubbing high quality olive oil such as Bariani on the skin. Synthetic chemical sunscreens may indeed help prevent a sunburn, but they do not prevent skin cancer. In fact, they may even promote it. Researchers at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston cite there is no substantial evidence that sunscreen protects against any of the three forms of skin cancer. Robin Marks, MB, MPH, a dermatologist and a professor at the University of Melbourne, said, relying on synthetic chemicals to prevent cancer is laughable. Arthur Rhodes, a University of Pittsburgh dermatologist, told a 1994 meeting of the American Cancer Society that sunscreens appear weakly effective or ineffective. Hmm. Okay, interesting. All right, loud noise takes a toll. Ever notice a ringing in your ears after listening to loud music or being around loud noises? That is a physical damage, both permanent and cumulative. A study in the January 2001 Audiology found that people who engage in noisy leisure time activities ranging from rock concerts to disco dancing to woodworking, have increased risk of hearing loss for each 5-year period of participation. And movie theaters too, boy, are they loud. Sometimes I have to bring cotton balls or earplugs just to kind of drown out the sound a little bit. I could still hear even with those things. Anyways, those are pretty loud. Choose to spend your time in less noisy places or wear hearing protection such as earplugs. Hearing loss is now an epidemic in America. The hearing aid business grows every year, which is not just a result of population growing older. Noise causes other problems too. Do you ever jump when somebody rings the doorbell, when a car alarm goes off, or when the music suddenly is turned louder? In many ways, noise can be stressful, causing both physical and psychological problems. A study in the March 2001 Journal of the Acoustical Society of America found that children chronically exposed to transportation noise from road, rail, and air traffic had elevated blood pressure and elevated levels of stress chemicals. A similar study in the February 2001 Psychological Medicine found that children exposed to chronic aircraft noise have impaired reading comprehension. Wow, that's interesting. I remember when I was little, I lived in Hong Kong and we lived right next to the international airport, the old international, Hong Kong International Airport at the time. And we hear planes going, you know, f going up, like flying up and coming down, and they fly pretty low, so we hear them a lot. Interesting. Noise also causes nutritional deficiency. A study in the February 2001 Occupational Medicine, I wonder if that damaged my brain. Maybe that's why I'm not that smart. That's funny. Sorry, I got a little squirrel there. Um, Okay, so noise also causes nutritional deficiency. A study in the February 2001 Occupational Medicine measured significant losses of calcium and magnesium in the urine of factory workers chronically exposed to loud noise. Noise studies on laboratory animals have shown either damaging effects ranging from impaired lymphatic drainage to increased intestinal permeability. A study published in the May 2001 Behavioral Physiology concluded that even what we would consider mild chronic noise can cause changes in the lining of the intestines, making them leakier, which can lead to allergies and many other chronic health problems. While music and other sounds are good for the spirits, avoid living in an environment of never-ending noise. Peace and quiet are great for the psyche. Consider how noise affects you and make your choices accordingly. If you know you're going to be exposed to loud noise, wear ear protection. Diet also helps to prevent hearing loss, especially if you are generally genetically predisposed to hearing loss. Proper nutrition can have a significant effect on whether such loss can happen or will happen or not. Eye muscle exercises help save sight. Most people do not realize the amount of influence they have over their eyesight. Ability to see is greatly dependent on how one uses and exercises their eyes. Like all muscles in the body, the ones that control eyesight must be exercised in order to keep them supple and long and strong. call it vision maintenance. Modern life requires using the eyes in ways very different from those under which we evolved. Now we must make special choices in order to protect and maintain our natural vision. The main reason we lose our vision, believe it or not, is literacy. Reading and writing are new skills in the scope of human evolution. During most of human evolution, our eyes were primarily used to gaze afar, to locate food, shelter, and threats to safety. When focusing off at a distance, the muscles that control the shape of the eye and the shape of the lens remain in a relatively natural and relaxed state. However, in order to focus on something close, such as a book or a computer screen, the muscles that control the shape of the lens and the eye must contract. For brief periods of time, this reshaping of the eye tissues does not pose a problem. However, we now spend most of our time focusing on nearby objects, such as books, papers, televisions, and computer screens. We place our eye muscles under constant tension for hours every day, causing a permanent distortion of the lens and the eyeball itself. Thus, vision deteriorates. To maintain or improve your natural vision, corrective lenses are not the answer. Corrective lenses cause damage to eye tissues, forcing them to work in unnatural ways. This fix creates cycle. This fix creates a vicious cycle. As vision deteriorates, stronger prescriptions are needed. Corrective lenses address the symptoms of vision loss, doing nothing to solve the underlying problems. By contrast, vision improvement techniques address the causes of vision problems. Losing your vision and wearing corrective lenses can often be avoided. You can learn eye exercises that prevent vision loss, and improving vision after it is impaired also is possible. Vision maintenance techniques enhance the strength and flexibility of the muscles and tissues of the eye, improving focus and clarity of vision at any distance. Your vision is something that I need to be working on one of my lists to work on in terms of health. I have a very strong nearsightedness because I love to read. When I was little, I read a lot. So I wore glasses when I was very little. So that's something I'd love to have 20/20 vision. That's my goal. Anyways, work in progress. When reading or working at a computer, occasionally take a minute to look out the window at a distant object, studying the details of that object. This activity allows the eye muscles to relax. Blankly gazing out the window does not make eye tissues return to their normal shape, whereas focusing on distant details does. Do this once every 30 minutes or so for about a minute at a time. The exercise takes very little effort and helps to preserve your vision. If you wear corrective lenses, be sure to take them off whenever they are not needed, thus giving your eyes an opportunity to work naturally, especially when you are outdoors, where the eyes can also receive full spectrum light. For more tips on eyesight, see Appendix E. Reading, writing, or sitting at a computer all day damages your eyesight unless you take the time to rest and exercise your eyes. Another important aspect of damage control on the physical pathway. Let's see Appendix E. If it's long, we won't read it because we're going to read the appendix at the end of the chapter anyways, at the end of the book, I mean. Oh, it's not that bad. Okay. Appendix E, improving vision. Eyesight can be improved using natural vision improvement exercises. By regularly performing a series of simple exercises, most people can throw their eyeglasses away. Mir Schneider's Yoga for Your Eyes offers a complete program including a 62-page booklet, eye exercise chart, and an 82-minute videotape teaching you how to improve your vision naturally. Mir Schneider was born without sight. He developed his own total approach to self-healing and used it to reverse his own blindness. How interesting. Yoga for Your Eyes is available through Beyond Health at www.beyond-health.com, or you can call 1-800-250-3063. So if anybody, I'll check on this after we finish here. I mean, I'll check on the website when we finish here, but if anybody called or used the website, let us know if it still works. Because this book was written a long time ago. Let me see. This book was written, it was printed in 2002. So anyways, it got to double check if any of these works or not. If any of these websites or phone numbers work. Okay, so we'll stop here for now. And I hope you enjoyed that. I'll put all the links that I mentioned in the description box below. And if you guys have any experiences yourselves, any anecdotes, stories, anything like that regarding this topic that we've read in this chapter, share it with the community in the comments. And yeah, we'll help each other grow. We'll help each other stay healthy and be healthy and achieve our health goals. So, anyways, I hope you guys all have a great day, a great week, and we will continue the reading next week. Okay, bye bye now.